Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. The Altenew August release has just dropped. It's now available in the shop, and this video is a part of a video hop celebrating this brand new release from Altenew. So if you want more details, be sure to check the description below. Now here's a few of the products that I chose to work with this month from the Altenew release. There are some brand new layering dies, including this World in Bloom there on the left and the Cute Camper on the right. I'm going to be using both of these die sets in my projects today. I love that these products are a little bit different for Altenew, but they also still have that very Altenew style about them. They would pair great with some of the florals that Altenew has previously released. Now I'll also be using the Traveler's Atlas 3D embossing folder. I thought this would just make a great background, add some texture to these kind of wanderlust themed products that I'm going to be using today. And finally, I'll also be using this Blooming Floral Swag. This is a press plate set, and I'll be using the sentiments from this. I'll also be using a brand new stamp and coordinating die set called Tranquil Greetings. Now, if you're looking for any of the products that I'm using today, you will find links to those featured products in the YouTube description below, so be sure to check there. And keep in mind that each of these packages contain kind of step-by-step layering guides for how these die cuts come together. So you're going to take all of these various pieces and die cut them from the color of cardstock that you want, and then you'll kind of layer them up. So that packaging is really helpful. Now I'm using a color palette that I am very familiar with, I'm very fond of, but you could make these any color that you want. And I did want to just kind of let you know that the brand new Altenew cardstock is available for pre-order now. So if you want to pick some of that up, I think it's a great time to do so. Now, I didn't have that cardstock when I was putting these card projects together, but I can tell you I have it in hand now, and it is some beautiful cardstock. You're going to love the colors, and they coordinate so well with the Altenew inks. So what I like to do is kind of trim down small pieces of cardstock and die cut the different smaller dies from these pieces of cardstock, and then I kind of like to set them to the side, or I'll take a little tray or a little like a jewelry holder or something and put all the little pieces in there to kind of keep track of them. And once I have all the pieces ready to go, then I can use the layering guide on the back of the packaging to help me layer these up correctly. Now I chose to use some metallic silver cardstock on the top of this little Cute Camper here, which by the way, it is called Cute Camper, and I think that's adorable. And that's just going to give it a little shine and kind of make it look a little more retro, kind of like the Airstreams. And then I used some pink along the bottom. Now I'm also going to bring in a darker pink for the door and for the curtains inside the window, just to bring like a little pop of intensity. And since I cut the base from some ivory cardstock, I can use an alcohol marker to add some color to the windows. And I also added some color with an alcohol marker to the tires. Now keep in mind, when you are creating die cuts like this where there's multiple pieces, if you don't have all of the colors that you need to die cut from, you can always use your inks, your markers, or your watercolors to add color to a white or a cream cardstock. And now I have that all layered up and ready to go, and I'm going to set that to the side while I assemble this World in Bloom die set. Now, once again, I've chosen colors that I like for these, but this would be beautiful in a deep, rich blue as well. And I'm going to add some metallic shine to this globe piece as well, using some metallic gold cardstock. I think it's a fun way to add a little shine to your die cut pieces. If you incorporate a little bit of metallic or glitter cardstock, you don't have to do large amounts of this metallic or glitter cardstock to really make a big impact. Small pieces can really just grab the light and catch the eye on your card projects. So I'm just working through all of these pieces. I'm using the back of that packaging to help guide me in what I want to die cut. And then I did also die cut some of the florals and the greenery from some various colors of pinks and greens. And I die cut those more than once because I knew I wanted to have plenty of greenery and foliage on my card. Now I die cut the kind of, I don't know what to call this, but the latitude and longitude lines design. from a couple additional layers of white cardstock, and I'm adding that behind my colored cardstock, and that's going to give a little bit of depth and a little bit of dimension to this when I put it together. Now I've grabbed the Mountain Mist Fresh Dye ink and an Altenew mini blending brush, and I'm going to add a little bit of shading to this solid piece. This is definitely an optional step, but I think adding shading to some die cuts can be fun. It can give it a little more depth, a little more dimension, and kind of just add some interest to your card. It can also help kind of differentiate layers if you don't have a bunch of different colors of cardstock that you can use. Adding a little blending with some ink can really differentiate those layers and make them look like they're cut from different colors of cardstock. Now I have the Altenew Fresh Dye ink in Lagoon, and I'm going to add some shading to the greenery pieces. I'm just kind of going towards the base. And by the way, I really do love the mini ink blending brushes from Altenew. And I'm using the 9x12 Ultra Sticky Grid Mat to keep my die cuts in place as I'm doing my ink blending. And this Ultra Sticky Mat is really great for these more intricate small dies. It keeps my fingers out of the way and allows me to add just a little bit of shading to these smaller die cuts. Now for that light pink, I used blush ink and added a little bit of shading towards the bottom of that. And for this deeper pink, I'm going to use one of my favorite Altenew Fresh Dye ink colors. It is the color Rouge, and I think it is so beautiful. I'm not quite sure that the cap does it justice, but this is a beautiful color, and I've used this in previous video tutorials. Now these small floral pieces actually use the keyhole system from Altenew, and this keyhole system helps you line up the layers properly. So in the center of each of these layers, you're going to see a little hole that's kind of shaped like a keyhole, and you will line up those keyholes on each layer to make sure that the flower lines up perfectly. Altenew has some larger floral die cut images that also use the same keyhole system. So what I like to do is take a little bit of liquid glue, these are also numbered, and add it just around that keyhole. Then I'm going to take the second layer and I'm going to make sure those two keyholes line up perfectly. You'll notice that the top part of this keyhole on this particular flower is kind of shaped like the top of an arrow. So I'm just going to make sure that the openings are lined up perfectly, and I know I'm getting my layers in the right place every time. Now, can you layer them any way you like? Absolutely, there's no rules. But if you're someone who likes to make sure that you get things kind of right where they're supposed to be, right the way that they were designed, then this keyhole system is something that I think you'll find very helpful. So now I'm taking the third layer, I'm lining up that opening with the other two openings that are currently layered up, and I'm doing the same thing with the center. The center actually has two layers, and the first layer has the layer with the keyhole die cut from the center. That helps you get it in position on the floral. And then it has a solid piece to go over that and disguise that opening so that your card project looks nice and finished. And you can see I have the smaller one put together and that larger, darker pink flower all assembled. Now I'm taking the pieces that I've added all the inking to, and I am using the guide on the back of the packaging to help me make sure I get everything in place. You can align these any way that you like, but look at the difference it makes when I add this little bit of gold cardstock to the stand of that globe. I think it's so much fun. And as I mentioned before, it's just something that kind of grabs the eye and draws the attention of the recipient. It makes it feel really special. Now I'm arranging some of the greenery and the florals at the base of the globe, and now I have both of my adorable die cuts assembled and ready to go. So now it's time to create kind of some backgrounds for these die cuts, and I'm going to use that Traveler's Atlas embossing folder. I'm just using the recommended sandwich for my die cut machine to run my cardstock through using this embossing folder, and you're going to see I have some great raised texture that kind of ties in this travel theme, this wanderlust theme. Now I will tell you, I took these backgrounds and I added some white ink to them, and I didn't like it. So you're going to see those white inked backgrounds in my video, but I actually trade those out for just a simple raised embossed background. Now for the cards I created with the globe, I grabbed those press plates from the Blooming Floral Swag press plate collection from Altenew. Keep in mind, you can use these with your Better Press system or with your hot foil system. And I've inked those up and I'm pressing those onto some watercolor cardstock. So this is going to give me kind of a pressed look. But most of all, I just loved these sentiments and the sayings, and I thought they went perfectly with the globes. Now for this cute camper die, I used one of the greetings from the Tranquil Greetings stamp and coordinating die set. And you can see I also mixed in a little bit of the greenery and the florals from the World in Bloom die set to add to the back of this camper. I just thought it was a fun little addition. Now for each of these, I've trimmed down the cardstock that I created the background with, and I am adding those onto an ivory card base using some foam adhesive. I like a lot of dimension, but keep in mind you can skip the dimension if that's not something you're into. And I'm adding my globe and my background onto my card using, again, you guessed it, foam adhesive. If you've been around here long, you know I say I like big cards and I cannot lie. So now I'm adding this again onto my card base, and you can see I went back and recreated that sentiment using some black ink. And here in the closing little slide, you will see a third card that I created using that World in Bloom die set along with the Blooming Floral Swag press plate set. That is that card there on the bottom. Now, as I mentioned before, this video is a part of a video hop celebrating this brand new release from Altenew for August 2024. I will have all the details for that hop in the YouTube description below, as well as links to the featured products used in these projects. So if you're looking for any of that information, be sure to click the YouTube description below and check that out. Altenew is giving away a ton of prizes, so you don't want to miss out on this fabulous hop. And as you're hopping along, I encourage you to give a thumbs up to each of the participants, subscribe to their channels, and leave them a comment. I want to say thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed these projects. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. And I'd love for you to leave a comment below and let me know which of these 3 cards is your favorite, or let me know which of the products that I showcased today is your favorite. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the very end. You know, if you've made it this far, you are one of my favorites. To subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click the button on the left side of the screen. And here's a couple more video tutorials I thought you might enjoy.